So let's go ahead and take a look at another hardware crash, namely a stop 124, which is a WHEA uncorrectable error. So once again, we'll go ahead and bring up the debugger, starting it in administrative mode, and open up the crash dump. Here we'll go ahead and look at the second crash. As it loads it into the debugger, we can quickly see that it is a stop 124. We can get a bit more information about that by doing the bang analyze -show. So here we see it is a WHEA, or the Windows Hardware Error Architecture uncorrectable error. A fatal hardware error has occurred. Looking at the parameters, parameter 1 identifies the type of error. In this case, we had a machine check exception. Parameter 2 holds the address of what's known as the WHEA error record structure. We'll be taking a look at that in just a moment. It also has a couple of bit masks that describe the machine check status in the third and fourth parameter. Once again, we can quickly take a look at the online help to get an idea of which direction to go. And so a stop 124, scroll right down here, it's one of the very last bug checks that have been created, and we could see the discussion about a 124 and that it's a fatal hardware error and the different parameters. If parameter 1 is 0, as it is in our case, then parameter 2 contains the address of the WHEA error record, and again the status bits are reflected with parameter 3 and 4. And it gives us the cause of the error, a machine check exception occurred. Now you'll notice there's different bit masks or different arguments, so if you had a 1 in the first argument, this might have been a corrected machine check exception. Or maybe if it was a 2 in the first argument, a corrected platform error had occurred, or an NMI error, or a PCI Express error, or a generic hardware error. So there's many different things that could have failed, and it's that first argument that tells us. And then we go to the online help that we're looking at to sort of focus in on what to do. So, as you may know, there is a command called bang WHEA to get more information about the Windows hardware error architecture sources and the record addresses. So here we are. Let me go ahead and scroll back up to where this command started. You see a lot of information comes out, but here we go. Essentially, I issued the bang WHEA command, and it tells us that we've got 8 different error sources, and then it goes ahead and enumerates all the different error sources. Here's error source 0. These are the different hardware components that are essentially providing additional information. This is the Windows hardware error architecture that provides all this additional information. And as you can see, there's various records that we can take a look at, and that's what we're going to do. So it goes on and on and on, shows us the different error sources. Here's error source 1, and it has a set of error records associated with it. Here's error source 2, and so on. So remember the .bug check code, and we can see that this second argument is essentially the address of the error record. Again, we can do the bang analyze -show command, and it confirms that the second argument right here is the address of our WHEA record. So let's go ahead and take a look at that error record. I'm going to essentially use the bang error rec command to provide more information about it. So a lot of information went scrolling by, so let's go back here to see where it started. Okay, here's the command I issued, bang error rec, giving it the address of one of the error records, and we could see that it was a machine check exception. It was a fatal machine check exception. Then you see additional information that it was in fact a cache error. And then we can get even more and more information about it by scrolling down, and we can see finally that it was a cache error, lo and behold, on processor 5 bank 19. So we can drill right down through the various WHEA data structures to uncover what was the failing hardware at this particular time, which again was processor 5, bank 19. So hopefully this gives you a good idea of how to go about tackling a stop 124.